my brothers and sisters in nerdiness, welcome back to the Spider's Web, and in this video we're going to be looking at this model, Tyrannosaurus Rex from Tamiya. We're going to be not painting it, we're going to be putting it together and seeing how we go from there. So, the Tyrannosaurus Rex, fairly big mini. So what we have is a sheet of paper here, and I'm going to zoom in. There we are. So hopefully you're able to read what there is there if you pause the video, and you can take your time having a look and reading what it is. It tells you about the here it tells you about the dinosaur itself, and then for painting and a diorama building there. And quite an interesting picture at the bottom, if I can just push it up. Okay, so we have that about the dinosaur itself, and then if we push it up we have on painting and the diorama building, with an interesting picture of him attacking some form of Diplodocus, I would think it may be. Well, there we are. And we'll zoom out a little more now. And this is where we are with the actual instructions on how to build it. So we're going to work through step by step, and hopefully we'll get this finished. And then we have a Stegosaurus, a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and 6 Velociraptors to paint in future videos. So let's pop this to one side and get the parts out. So we have 2 body parts, left and right side. Bottom of the box, it's just important information concerning this kit in multiple languages. So that's there. Okay, so let's get into this bag and have a look at the rest of it. So we have 2 sprues. This one has, we'll put those to one side, we can have a clear look at this. This one has the 4 limbs and the tongue. So we have left and right legs and left and right arms, and the tongue there. Almost lost myself then. And here we have left and right side of head, left and right side of tail. Simple model to put together. I can't see any problems with it whatsoever, other than it not fitting together properly. Hopefully I've not just cursed myself, but never mind. Let's get on with it, shall we? Going to the rules, we'll follow these step by step. Assembly of head. Right side of head, left side of head, tongue stuck together. There we are. So, hang on a second, let me angle this slightly so you can see what I'm doing, because knowing me, I will come slightly off screen. That's better. So, left side of head, we'll snip this bit and this bit, and we'll snip this bit and this bit. You see, these, we're going step by step, and I'll bring this up to show you. Hopefully you can see this. Everything is labelled. So on sprue A you get part 1, part 2, which are 1 and 2. Sprue B is this one, where you get part 6, because it's these 6 parts. On here we have parts 3 and 4, and just to show you, part 3, part 4. Okay, so let's dry fit these together just to make sure that they go together fairly well, and they do, and they come apart fairly well also. This goes in here like so. I was going to paint this first, wasn't I? I was going to paint the tongue first before I put it in. Let's have a look just to see, can I get this, can I get at the tongue? I probably can with the airbrush. And it might be a struggle, I'll probably be able to get it with the paintbrush as well. Yeah, we should be okay. I'm hoping so anyway. So what I'm going to do now is just take these apart once more. Get our glue. There's not much left of this. I'm going to have to get my other, possibly going to have to get my other one out, or at least start using the other one. And I'm just going to go around the edges and flat surfaces. Of this model. Notice how I'm calling it a model and not a mini, because this is a scale model, it's not a mini, not a games miniature. There we are. And as you can see, there's no gaps, but there are a few areas that need a little bit of care and clean up, and that's where we've snipped it off the sprue. And I'm also going to try just to disguise the join line as well. And I can do that another way by just putting a little bit of the glue over the seam. But we'll have a look at that later. I just want to get the model constructed first off. Let's go along with our knife. Now, before anybody makes a comment, and I noticed this when I was putting together the Velociraptors, I scrape and cut towards my thumb, as you can see here. Everybody tells you not to do that when you're cutting wood. Bear with me a second, let me just alter the camera once again. That's better. If you're cutting wood, whittling I believe it's called, then yes, you cut away from yourself. But when you're doing this kind of work, where you need complete control, cut towards yourself. You start doing that and cutting away from yourself, you've got a greater chance of cutting into the model, which is not something you want to do. Also, you won't cut yourself by doing this way because you're not going wild with the movements. You're doing controlled, slow cuts. So you are perfectly safe and much better, you get much better control cutting things like this towards your thumb, because you're not going to slip. Head is done. There we are. What's next? Step 2. Assembly of legs. So we want B2 and B7. Okay, so B2. If we look at this, B2 is that one. It has, the sprue has broke here, but we know where it is. It's still attached, thankfully. And once again, we can just trim any rough areas that we cause by snipping it off the sprue. We can trim it down in a slow and controlled manner. Do not rush that stage. So that's B2. Now we want B7, which is, well, if that was B2, that area there, this is B7, so they're all together. You can tell this kit was not made by anyone at Games Workshop, because all the pieces that you need are together and not on 7 different sprues. Okay, I nearly schoolboy error there. I almost just snapped that piece off. And you don't want to do that because you can damage the edge of the model, not of the piece rather. I'll put them together just to dry fit, see how they look. So though there might be a little bit of gap here and there, but once we get the glue on, they'll melt together and should be fine. Okay, so I'm going to use this part, and I'm just going to go ahead and cover all the straight edges where it's going to join together. If you notice, I'm putting the brush into the glue and giving it a little bit of a shake. As I said at the beginning, I'm running very low, so I'm just making sure that there is glue on the brush when I take it out of the pot. And I really should have put the main piece. I really should have put the glue on the bigger piece. It would have been much easier that way, but not to worry. It's done. There we are. And unlike the Velociraptors, when I was putting those together, this sticks quite well together. Obviously there's a little bit of a raised lip there. We can come along and give this a good going over with this sandpaper. That smooths it down together, but what you can also do is wait until it dries and do this, or smear a little bit of glue down the edge and that, and then just wipe it down, wait for it to dry and then scrape it down, and that should glue it together much better. Not much glue seems to have gone on the toe, so I'm just trying to squeeze them together. That should hold in a second. There we are. That's that done. One leg done. And now we do the next leg in exactly the same way. we get that side of the leg, this side of the leg, and knife of opening, there we are. In this case, knife of scraping. There we go. That's that bit done. And any rough bits on here, just a little bit on that claw. I called it a toe earlier, it's not a toe, it's a claw. And a little bit up here. You see what I mean? Even when it looks as though I've lost like pressure there, if you're controlled enough and you've got a good grip on your knife and you're taking your time doing this, you're not going to slip. And let's get on with this now. So we'll get these straight edges covered with glue. You don't want too much. If you use too much, you're going to get it all over the place and it's going to spoil the look of your final model. You just want enough so there's no squeeze out at all, or very little squeeze out. We're not making a table or a chair or anything, we're making a highly detailed model. Try not to drop it. Oops. Needs to go in there. And again, squeeze together. If you do find there is any gaps that won't close, you can always use some filler on this. I don't mean like polyfiller or spackle or whatever you want to call it. There is specific model fillers that you can use. I've got one that you saw in an earlier video. It's just in a little tube you squirt out and you put it in, allow it to dry, and then you can sand it down, and works wonders for gaps. Highly recommend getting some of that, whether it's for model kits like this or whether it's for your gaming miniatures. It's always worthwhile getting some of that. Okay, next step, and okay, I've done 1, 2, 3 now, is assembly of body. So we need to get the left and right parts of the body, left and right parts of the tail. So we've got the left and right parts of the body here. Let's see how these fit together. Oop, jeez, that was a bit scary. Thought I broke it then for a second. But as you can see, it fits together quite well. So let's try and prise it apart. If you find you're having trouble prising it apart, just pop in your knife and give it a little bit of a twist, and that should, I say should, help you get parts separated. Sometimes it doesn't actually pay to dry fit. There we are. I can just wiggle it now, and you wiggle it just a little bit. There we are. That's all you need to do. So this is going to take up quite a bit of glue. So do that. Make sure There's some in these holes because you want to make sure that there's a good connection everywhere. And also going to go around here as well. Yeah. I mean, what I could do with this now is start cutting up pieces of sprue and putting it in and making like a sprue goo, which is also a good way of filling gaps. Which I may well do, to be honest. Oops. There we go. Get in. There we go. We're in. And now we can just press these together. Okay, as you can see, some areas don't want to fit together as well as others. I need to clean up this part here. And again, we can go back and give this a sanding down, which I will be doing anyway. I've shown you how I prepare the models for painting. But we just need to make sure that they are together as well as they could possibly fit. Unfortunately, you can see holes as you look down here. I don't know whether you can see that, but there are gaps. I don't mean the end. There we are, prime example. You can see there. As I run my hand down, there are gaps. And they're ones you're going to be having to fill in. But we can do that, as I say, with glue a little bit later. Just spread it over a light coating of glue and then sand it down. That kind of thing works wonders, or just get some filler and put that over the top. But obviously there is a pronounced ridge here, so we're going to have to do something about that. But we can do that once it's dried. So next we have legs. That leg fits on there. So again, just make sure that there is glue on the brush. And that's lined up. There we are. And now this leg. Blop, 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 blop. Oops. It's quite a bit more than I was expecting on that brush then. There's a tongue dribble down there. Oh well. Not to worry. And we can pop that into there, like so. So, oven ready turkey, anybody? Pop that down there, out of the way, while we get this sprue out and concentrate on the tail. One, two, one, and two. And we'll just tart up here, making sure that we've got any rough pieces off. Don't need that. Didn't have a proper grip on there. Didn't have full control of the cut, so I've changed grip. If you don't feel comfortable about it, don't do it. But you need to have, in order to do this safely, you need to have the bit that you're cutting or trimming down or scraping to be very close to you, so you're not making big sweeping movements. So I'm not going to. I know it's always recommended to dry fit things together, but in this case I'm not going to. The body was hard enough to get apart. When you've got two of these big sockets holding them together, I don't fancy trying it with this, because I'm a clumsy so-and-so and I don't want to break the model. I'm not sure if that's got any. Doesn't look like it has. There we are, I feel better about that now. There we go. And now we get the tail, and just watch this now. I'm not going to dry fit, it's not going to fit properly. No, I have. See how that fit together then. That was brilliant. I love that bit. Now, if you're not too confident about leaving these to dry like this, you can always wrap this part in string or masking tape even, or elastic bands, that kind of thing, just to keep them together like a clamp. But this glue is really good for sticking polystyrene together, or this kind of model, so it's not going to be a big issue for putting together. There we are. So that's that. I'm going to obviously glue this together. I'm not going to leave it like that, but they do clip together quite well. I'm going all the way around both surfaces here. I'm not just doing one surface. I'm making sure that there is glue on both of these. Oops, and I need to make sure that there's glue on these little cutout bits. And there we are. That's that done. So we have that there, and the next part is the head, and this goes on like so. You can leave it unglued, but for me, the fact that it can turn and it doesn't give a good look when it's not straight on and not set as it should be, I'm going to glue it. So pop this in like so, and then turn it, and that's that. And the final part of constructing the T-Rex is these little arms. Now, it has recently been theorised that T-Rex was not actually a predator, but a scavenger. Don't know whether that's right or not, but it would certainly come to some, give a reason why the arms are very short. don't know how accurate that theory would be, and obviously nobody was there to see it, so nobody can actually say for definite. We can only theorise, but I'm not even going to trim these down because the connection point for the sprue is going to be inside the model, so you're never going to see it. So no point in being fussy about it. I'm just going to push this in and turn it, and here we have, zoom out a little bit now so you can see the whole model, and there we have the T-Rex. I'll turn it that way so you can see it a little better. And that is the T-Rex from Tamiya. I believe these are old models. It doesn't seem to have many left at the model shop in in-Makerfield, Ashton Models Centre. But he has a few. There is a big Diplodocus, however you want to pronounce it. I am so tempted to get that, but I need to sort out things and make room for it. And there's also some baby dinosaurs there as well, so I might get those. But as far as this one goes, that's him done. Obviously there's a little work to do on him before we get painted, hide these seams, fill in some gaps, smooth areas out, but essentially he's there. So that's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Until next time, as always, stay safe and take care. God bless, and bye for now.